Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, and you're listening to Incredible Life Creator Podcast. My guest today is Aurea McGarry. Aurea McGarry is an Emmy award-winning TV show host and producer, serving on the Emmy Award Board of Governors, a leading TV show host for Atlanta Live on WATC TV, and contributing expert TV panelist on Atlanta&Company on NBC 11 Alive. President and CEO of Aurea McGarry Productions, Live Your Legacy Summit, and her own success talk show. Vice President of What Women Want Networking, success coach, author, event Emcee, and charity auctioneer. A sought-after speaker teaching her signature techniques titled Her Voice Shines on how to celebritize your influence, earn an extra 6 figures a year, and increase your celebrity power of influence. Cancer and domestic violence SUR-THRIVER. I love that, SUR-THRIVER. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Kimberly, for having me. Seems like we've known each other forever, and it's so nice to come back together and be in each other's same space. It's been too long.
Yes, and I think other people would like to hear your story, where you started out, how you got to be where you are today.
Oh my, that is way too long of a story.
Pick the highlights.
I'm trying to pick the line. It's, I'm not as young as I used to be. There's a lot more time lapsed. But let's see. I was born at a young age, I was born and raised in New York City, so that's kind of a little fun fact. But I really love to give women hope because life happens. And the older we get, the more life happens to us, and it's always going to be happening. So I'm just a real cheerleader for women to help us all make it through all the stuff, because we have so many hats. And when I was a young girl, I was 15, my dad was murdered by the mafia. That started my first big tragedy. And then I went on to marry a pastor's son, and I thought everything was going to be white picket fence and happy, and he ended up being a very horrific abuser. So I escaped domestic violence. And then I went on, and my mom had cancer, my brother had cancer, my mom passed away from it, and then I get cancer. So, you have to turn your obstacles into stepping stones. And through all of that, we learn a lot. But I think the best part of going through bad stuff is when you know in your heart you're going to get through it, and you're going to reach back behind you and help others make it through. Because nobody can help a domestic violence survivor through that except somebody who's been through it. You just don't get it. Like, I can't help somebody through something else if I haven't been through it. So I just think, okay, one more thing, I can be a really good friend to somebody that's going to need me someday. And it's okay. So, and during my cancer, they took out my vocal cord nerve and told me I'd never speak again above a faint whisper. But I went on to start a talk show and won an Emmy Award for being a talk show host. So giving women, and men too, but women are just my passion. I love giving women hope because we're so hard on ourselves. But what's stopping you from your dreams coming true? I was 48 years old without a vocal cord nerve when I won my little girl dream of winning an Emmy and being able to say, there it is, thank you to the Academy. But I did it for spotlighting nonprofits and good people and good stories. So life is good, but bad things can happen. But it's okay, because those bad things can turn into your entire career or ministry or purpose, passion, or legacy. Mm-hmm. I told you it was a mouthful.
Yes. And I know that you have supported so many charities.
I love charities.
Probably hard to even choose one, but any of them that just really stand out and you have a good story about how you worked with that charity?
Well, yeah, so many. I mean, I won the Emmy for doing the TV show on Noah's Ark Rehabilitation Center in Locust Grove. And Jema Hedgecoth has rescued over 2,000 animals and raised 350 children. I mean, that alone, and she's found children behind dumpsters, and brought them in, and just her story is amazing. And that was a great show we did. But with my Live Your Legacy Summit, I know wonderful people like Tamika Lowry Pugh, who has the I'm Still Standing Foundation, and she helps women make it through domestic violence like me. I wish I had known her back when I was going through it. And she's got a wonderful gala that I help be her auctioneer for on my birthday every year in October. And Marcus Acosta had Hands Across Atlanta and helps feed the homeless. And there's so many vets down there. The veterans that are homeless is just astronomical and just shouldn't be happening to our vets. They should not be homeless. So, and I've got, Linda Gunter, who does Love Him, Love Them, helping the children in Haiti. So yeah, it's a mouthful on that too. It's hard to pick one, but there's good charities all over the place. So I tell people, what is passionate to you? Do you want to rescue animals? Do you care about our vets? Is it a women cause, children? And there's a good nonprofit for you to get behind. And if you don't have one, connect with me. And I've vetted so many. So the ones I know and support, we're doing good. Right from the core, they give so much back, almost like most of them, like all of it back to the cause. They're just the selfless people in this world.
That is beautiful. And thank you for doing that.
Well, when I got cancer, it was like God spoke to me that I was going to be the voice for nonprofits with the voice I'm not supposed to have. It just came upon me that day, and I've never stopped. Before the cancer, even through domestic violence and the murder of my dad, I never had like that passion for nonprofits. It was one of those aha moments when tubes were coming out of my neck and my stomach, and I woke up from surgery, and I just knew when they told me I'd never speak again, that was when I was going to speak for a really good cause. It's like, watch me. And God did a miracle and allowed me to be the voice for them. Yeah. So I kind of got my passion. I got my calling that day.
Yes. And you're having no problem speaking today.
Yeah, I sound like a chicken sometimes, but it's okay. I don't have to be singing and it doesn't have to sound good. But, it's funny, Kimberly, that's why I don't do a lot of like podcasting myself, because I'm so self-conscious of how my voice sounds. So I love it when it's visual. I love TV because at least you can see me. Not that that's anything great, but at least you're not only listening to my voice.
Yes.
When it first started, I sounded like an obscene phone call. It got better over the years, but it's still one of those things that sounds a little funny to me because I guess I'm used to it by now, though.
Yeah, we're all used to it too. So
yeah, there you go.
We love you.
Thank you. Everybody says, "Oh, I can hear you coming." I'm like, "Oh, great." That's right. It's not how I sound. It's who I'm talking about and the stories I'm telling and the light I'm shining on good people and good women in business and helping. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the domestic violence piece. Sure. Maybe there's somebody listening right now that they're in that situation and they feel trapped. What would you tell them?
Oh, that's easy. They're not alone. I wish I had the internet back in the 90s when I was being abused. So, thank God for my mom back in the day who, helped me escape. But now with Google, I mean, every woman, I believe, in our, a modern society has a cell phone and has access to Google, has access to whether it's a shelter or whether it's to a pastor at her denomination or whatever. Find somebody you can reach up to and just start the conversation. And I know it's hard because we think it's our fault. We think we're doing something wrong. I know I thought I could fix this, or, hey, I made this choice. I'm the idiot. We're just so hard on ourselves as women. So I just encourage women to just take the first step and start talking to somebody. Just open the conversation. There's somebody in your life that loves you and you love that you can just say, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And let it go from there. Just, you're not alone. I promise you, 3 women a day die at the hands of a man that's supposed to love them, whether it's a boyfriend or a husband. So you are not alone, because that's only the ones that die. There's thousands being abused every single day, and it's out of control. So just start talking to somebody. And I say this to you, if you suspect a friend or a loved one is being wrongly treated and abused, even if it's verbal. Mine was mostly verbal. Oh, I only got 1 black eye, which I know now is 1 too many, but it was a lot of degrading verbal for 7 years. And that takes years to get over, if ever. There's scars that never heal. So if you think somebody you love is being abused, you start the conversation, because that's how my mom saved me. I would have never reached out for help. I would have thought, this is just the way all men are. No reason to seek help. This is just my life. But because she started talking to me, because she saw one of the talk shows during the day, and she suspected something. So she started the conversation with me. And it was about a year later before I actually escaped. So it takes some sowing of seed.
Well, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One step in front of the other. It's not grab somebody and rescue them. It's start the conversation.
Right. And then if someone is going through cancer, you've had a lot of cancer in your life, and you
Much.
got that aha moment in the
Yeah.
hospital room. But not everybody gets that. A lot of people are really in despair. So
Yeah.
how can they actually start to change their mindset so they can be a survivor?
Well, it's funny because not everybody is going to get, their passion or their legacy from their cancer. Some people will never talk about it again. It's not meant for them. It's not meant for them to have that as a platform, but it is meant for them to get encouragement and make it through. So again, don't be alone. Talk to people. The best thing that happened when I was going through cancer is when I saw people coming into the doctor's office that were in remission, that were on their 6-month cancer free, and you look at them like, wow, they made it that far. You just want to make it 6 months without having it. You want to make it to your first year. Then they say the 5-year point is a big tipping point. So wherever it leads you, just make it through. Bring in friends. Don't do it alone. And then your whole life could be different in a whole different way. And you may never talk about cancer again. And that's okay too. But to help you get it through so you get that cancer free is important to reach out to people who've been there and done that, people that have your same like beliefs in, whether you're a holistic type of person or whether you want more doctor treatments and more doctor opinions. Just don't settle for one doctor said this, so this is how I have to go. Get 3 or 4 opinions. Go down. I went doctors and holistic. 6 doctors said I was fine until the 7th one diagnosed my cancer and saved my life. Then I also did the chemo and the surgery, but on the other end of that, I did holistic and I did chelation treatments afterwards. I did vitamin therapy. I did coffee enemas afterwards to clean out my system from all the chemo. So I did, both. I had the best of both worlds. So whatever you do is fine. Just do it. Don't feel like you're stuck or you're trapped with this is the only diagnosis, the only way. Again, you got the whole world at your fingertips with Google.
Yes. Thank goodness for Google.
Yeah, I know, but Google is not your doctor. Remember that. It can just give you access to, you may want to do acupuncture. You may want to do vitamin therapy afterwards, or you may want to do you may want to, connect with somebody like Suzanne Summers, who stopped her treatment and went totally in a different direction after a few. And now, it was like 10 or something years ago, and she's still doing great after breast cancer. So find mentors, find people who've had your cancer and that are way out the other end, 5, 10 years cancer free, and hook onto that hope. Because you have nothing to lose by keeping your hope. Some of us make it through, some of us don't. You just never know why, but you have nothing to lose by keeping the hope alive. And I'm a big believer in just praying as well. Get on the prayer chains.
All right. So you've been through a lot of ups and downs, some huge challenges in your life, but a lot of people right now are feeling like they're having some huge challenges, either financially or emotionally, because of all the disruption that's happening in the world right now. It's just a big disruption, and it's just kind of mixing everything up, and people don't know where the floor is. Any advice on actually thriving in this situation?
Well, a couple of things. It depends who you are. Some people are meant to now get up and rise up. So if you feel this is your time to rise up for one of the causes, or, whether it's Black Lives Matter or whether it's health and coronavirus, and this is your time to rise up, then do it. I always say that your time comes, and this might be your time, that this is your purpose. You're going to make a difference. It's going to be your legacy. On the other hand, it might be other people are just getting so overwhelmed by it all, and they don't feel like this is something they need to jump in head first, be part of, and their whole life and career and everything's just getting disrupted. Then you need to turn off the news. You need to be enough aware to know what's happening. Like, today, are we wearing masks, or today we don't have to? Are we going back to school or not going back to school? But then shut it off and get back to what your happy spot is. Get back to your business, your family, whatever your calling is. So know your road, know your passion, know where you need to be, your sweet spot. And if you have to pivot and you're feeling like you need to pivot your business a bit or totally do something else, it's okay. But don't let the news bog you down if that is not your calling. If it is, then go for it. You be like the younger generation now is so awesome. They're our next hope. This is their time to rise up. Great. Do it. Find your tribe for sure. But if it's just bogging you down, shut it off. Meditate. Do something for yourself. I tell women self-care is very important. So you have to have self-care and start just being quiet to know what's my next step? Who is my next mentor? Who's my next coach? Is this my cause, or is this something I need to shut off and just, can't worry. Am I going to get corona? Am I not going to get it? You have to say, okay, I can do what I can do, my part. Like me, I only have one lung. In my cancer, they removed half of both my lungs, so that leaves me one between them. So I have to be more careful. So I wear my mask. I have never stopped when I go out. Whether somebody else finds they need to or not is not my concern. So I just concern with what I need to do for my health, and my whole family's doing the same thing because they're so protective over me. We don't know what would happen if I got it or didn't get it. So I'm not living in fear. Oh my God, if I get it, I'll die. No, I'd rather not get it. I don't have a lot of lungs to go around, so it'd be better if I don't. But we don't stress about it. I don't watch the news constantly. Gosh, where is it now? Is it on my doorstep? But I'm going to be very cautious and do all that things. So that's why I say watch the news enough to know what's going on, shut it off, and go back to your sweet spot. What makes you happy? What are you doing? What do you do with your family? What are you doing with your career? And go down that way. So it's all individual choices, but do what makes you happy, because we've got to have joy in our life. We just have to.
And what about people who are actual entrepreneurs? How does this going online, how is that a benefit for them?
Oh my gosh, the huge benefit out of all this is we've gone virtual, and we're never going back to not being virtual. I know I'm vice president of What Women Want, and we've been doing our networking virtually now, and we've got people in our lunches and in our dinners that are from New York and Connecticut and Florida, which we've never been able to network with before. It's always been my little Alpharetta group or the Perimeter group or the Connecticut group, and never the twain shall meet. And now it's like, oh my gosh, the whole world has really been forced upon us as entrepreneurs to network with. And I love it. We've got people on the line from Australia. I mean, this is fantastic. So we're never going to offline again. Everybody had to learn Zoom real quick. It was like a crash course. So now everybody knows it. Everybody's in it. So we're going to keep the virtual alive, and we're going to go back to meeting in person as well, with caveats and with safety. But if you're not thinking this virtual was the best thing that ever happened, you're wrong. It really is. Because just think of all the people now you can connect with that aren't in your little local town. So open it up, get on it. We've got, like I said, What Women Want networking going on. Jump in, connect with me. I'll connect you to people from all over the country that may need what you have to offer.
Mm-hmm. And that is really exciting. And that's one of the reasons I love this podcast. I've had people on from all over the world.
Say?
I
know.
Years ago, right?
Yeah, it's not just for those who knew how to do it now. Now it's for everybody. Everybody, like I said, just got a crash course in going virtual. Otherwise, you weren't going to survive. You had to. I mean, every business meeting, everybody had to start learning Zoom. I mean, I even taught, we do our Emmy board meetings now. And I said, hey, I can get you guys on Zoom. So they're all saying, okay, Rhea, fix us up, hook us up. And I did. So now we're all, together on Zoom, which is so much less traffic that way too.
Yeah, it really is. And I find that I can spend quality time with people. So a lot of times, instead of having a phone call now, we'll just have a Zoom call.
Oh,
like a connection call, like let's say I want to get to know another person we just met. I mean, with our busy schedules, it's hard to drive 45 minutes to lunch, have lunch, drive 45 minutes back. Now we have the whole, we can spend an hour and a half if we want talking. And
I love it.
Quality time.
It's so perfect. I love it. It's like we just jumped on the bandwagon what the young kids are doing with FaceTime. Mm-hmm. Now all of us over 40, it's just like, oh, wow, we can do this. I can see you and talk to you. And I don't have to wait for, something official. It's like, yeah, you can hop on FaceTime. You can hop on Zoom. Now when people say, hey, you want to talk on Tuesday? I'm like, yeah. Zoom or no Zoom. I mean, it's just like the question. And it doesn't matter. We don't have to worry about being made up. I mean, now we're just, we could be gardening at the same time and having a Zoom call with a colleague or a friend or, a client. It's all good. I mean, look at the TV shows. They're all doing it without their fake lashes, without their hair being done. So it's okay not to be dressed up all the time. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to feel like everything has to be perfect. It doesn't. Just hop on and eyeball to eyeball. So I think this is so exciting.
I do too. I feel like it's more real, more authentic.
It really is. And I love TV like this too, because I'm loving seeing people's kitchens and dens and bedrooms and kids jumping on their heads while they're trying to do, late night talk show. I mean, and look at their dogs. I mean, Laura from Good Morning America, I mean, all of her dogs. And it's just so much fun. It's like, oh, I'm not the only ones with, kids and dogs and things flying around my house. It's so fun.
It is. It really is fun.
Instead of all the sterile, studios and everything's perfect. It's like, no, everything, the top just blew off and it's great. I love it. And some of that will never change. We'll never go back to totally the way we were before. And that is all good. So if you're an entrepreneur, the top just got popped open. The world is your oyster. If you don't know how to tap into it, find a coach, find a mentor that can help you do it. Because that's what we do as coaches. We help you get to the next level using all this new technology and this new way. I always have a coach. There's never a time where I just arrive and, oh, I can handle my business on my own. Who does that? You have to have a team at all times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why don't you talking about TV? Why don't you talk about your success talk show?
Well, that kind of came back around too, because I love being on location. I won my Emmy Award by being on location. I had the 3 NBC camera guys there. I had everything. Everything was so well done and so produced. And doing a show from home, I know everybody was always, doing this, and I hate green screens. And so I never brought back my Success Talk that I had before. I had Success Talk Live, and I was doing it from home saying, oh, I really want to get back out on location. I want to go into the nonprofits. I want to go into people's offices. And I was just about to go back onto location for my Success Talk show, and Corona happened. And it kind of made things okay to be in your house with my backdrop like this, my background, and do the Zooms. So I started Success Talk again, and it's on YouTube, and I do some on Facebook Live. And what it is, it's helping people. I bring on people that have great success, and we talk about how to have success now during this new world, this quarantine, this COVID, whatever it is. But I bring people who have arrived at some point, whether it's a social media expert that has 270,000 followers like Warren Carlisle, or whether it's Melissa Carter, that's a radio show host, and she's made it through all the discrimination of what women go through in the industry. And we help share success tips. So I love it, because I always want to be a resource for women in business. What do you need? What's your next step? How can I help you? So I've turned it into Success Talk, and it's on my YouTube under Aurea McGarry, and you'll see lots of different people on there giving success advice. And I'm going to keep on going. But the pandemic has made it okay for me not to have it highly produced. It's okay now to have 2 heads talking on Zoom, because that's the way Good Morning America is doing it, and Kelly and Ryan. So you're with the big dogs now, sitting here, sometimes with your hair not done, and talking on TV.
With our screens, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yours is good. See, I can't use a green screen because it gets all fuzzy because I talk with my hands. So I have to use my real, one. But yours looks great. You're not fuzzy at all.
Yeah, it's not a green screen. It's a screen.
Oh, that's why it looks so good. I like it though. Oh, I feel like I'm like in the Caribbean.
I know. I love beach.
I love it. It's beautiful. And I like your microphone. It's a pretty silver one. I got the blue one. There we go.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I have to use this little guy too, so I don't spit into my microphone. If you're listening on podcast, we're showing our Yeti microphones. She's got silver. I've got blue.
Yeah. So now you have a new program coming up. Her Voice Shines.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, it'll be launching officially in September, like the first week of September, around Labor Day. Again, I've gone on to having my next coach. I always have coaches helping me to the next level of my career. And this one is going to be a new book. It's going to be how to take your voices and celebritize them so you all can be doing your own event. You've been to my Live Your Legacy Summit event, and I am showing entrepreneurs and business owners how to have their own signature workshops, events where they're the star, where they're teaching their intellectual property to their ideal clients in the room that they've invited. So entrepreneurs don't have to wait to be invited on a TV show or a podcast or to the right event with the right demographics. I teach them how to create it all on their own so they can make an extra $100,000 a year simply, and not easily. Easy means without effort. Everything takes effort that's worth it, but simply because it's not complicated. It's a simple working the numbers, and I show them how to do this they can make an extra $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year, or more. I mean, you know, I have had a $10,000 day, $20,000 weekend. It's all good. So I'm going to show them the secrets to celebritizing themselves, so they become the go-to person in their industry, whether they're a travel agent, an organizer, a CPA, a hairdresser, doesn't matter. It works for everyone. So excited about it. But it'll officially be shining probably the first week of September.
Beautiful. And I've been to some of your workshops on signature talks and on events, and it is very helpful and very useful. And like you said, simple, but everything.
Not easy. Easy means without effort.
Right.
Yeah, anything worth having is worth working for, and that's okay. But I love having a roadmap. I mean, I would never want to take a trip somewhere that I didn't know how to get to. Let's say we're going to California. If you don't have your Waze on and your map, how do you know where to go? How do you know the detours? How do you know where the construction is? Back in the day, we used to get the triptychs from AAA, and it would tell you where the construction zones are. Now we have Waze. It tells you everything. Same with our business. Why would you try to get to the next level without somebody saying, here, let me show you how. I've done this. Oh, that makes sense. Or you can wallow around in the wilderness and try to figure out on your own and maybe get there, maybe not, or maybe take longer than needed. Right now, people don't have time to waste because a lot of entrepreneurs, now their job has completely changed, or they've lost it, or they've lost their day job. Things are more critical now. So if ever you wanted to get to a six-figure level or more, you need help. And I just, you know, whether I'm your help or somebody else, find your right coach and grab on. And everybody's doing deals right now. Everybody, especially in my circle of the women that I know that are coaches, we want to help. It's all about turning around and giving back right now. We all have to make a living, but it's all about having that something that can help everybody in all different price ranges. So never feel you can't afford help. If you don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah.
So ask.
And I found that, and especially right now, I mean, I was in a course with Joel Bauer, and usually he's just working with the top tier. I mean, you can't get in for less than $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. And he's doing a course for, you know, lots of people at a very inexpensive, and many coaches are doing this right now to try and help people.
Absolutely, because it's no skin off our teeth to do a group, you know, for a smaller level instead of doing the individual high-end clients. And everybody, I think, really wants to be part of the help, part of the solution. And the higher ends do come out of that anyway. The cream rises, and there's plenty of our private clients to work with. But it feels so good to help the masses at the same time, because everybody needs a helping hand now, really, in one way or the other. And what I'm good at, I lack somewhere else. So we're all helping each other. And that's why networking is so important. That's why I've never let go of my women networking clubs, you know, my E-Women, my What Women Want. Because without that, I mean, that's the first place I go to seek out whether I need, you know, to buy something, or whether I need, you know, help with something, whether I need to be organized. I'm going to my networkers who I know, like, and trust. Why would I go outside of that? And if they don't have, you know, what I'm looking for in that, I'll ask them for referrals. Like, somebody they know, like, and trust. You got to have a sisterhood. You really need that for whatever reason.
It's important. And that know, like, and trust is so important.
Because women will tell you who they like, and they will tell you who they don't like, and they will tell you why. You know, don't go over there. That person is no good. Oh, we're good at that. Yeah, I mean, just think about it. We tell our friends about doctors we like or don't like, or movies we like. We don't even ask, like, oh, did you hear, or did you see, or have you read this book, or don't waste your time over here. That was such a disappointment. We're just better than a telephone. Like I said, it's tell a woman, and we got this.
That's right.
We really do. Yep. That's why advertisers know to advertise to us, because we're the buyers. We're the business decision when it comes to what we bring into our house, what we buy. We make a lot of the purchases, and we also are the ones that refer people. You know, whether we like you or don't like you, we'll let you know, because we care about our sisters. We care about our friends. I don't want you to get, you know, messed up by somebody I know does not have integrity or honesty. And if I've been, you know, I want to say mistreated by a company or brand or something, I say, hey, don't go there. This is what happened. I'll be the first one to tell you. You know, but I'll tell you who's good too.
Yeah. So, you know, people may look at you and say, oh, Emmy award winning. She has a TV show. She has a talk show. But how did you get to that point? I know in the past you've done Mary Kay, you've done some different things. So how did you get how did you get from,
Point A to point B.
Yeah.
Well, you may not know, I've always, when I was little, I used to be a figure skater since I was 3, and I used to skate with Dorothy Hamill and Janet Lynn and Peggy Fleming and all that. So my mom was a cosmopolitan model, and she did pro commercials. My brother was a singer, and we just kind of had the entertainment bug. So I've always wanted to be a rich and famous movie star, TV star, since I can remember. I'm 5 years old. That's all. I watched Johnny Carson. My mom let me stay up late. I wanted to be on his stage. So that bug was in me, but I lost it during, like, when my dad was murdered, when I was being abused. I thought those dreams were long gone. But I went to the New York Academy of Theatrical Arts. I went to the high school for young professionals. You ever seen the movie Fame?
Mm-hmm.
That was the type of high school I went to. And I graduated at 16 because I wanted to get out and get into the real world. And I did the soap opera Edge of Night. So I had that training and that skill, but it didn't get utilized till later in life. So that's another lesson learned, is if you have the skills and you have the passion, you may not use it right now. It may be later on in life that you use it. So never neglect it. If there's something inside you feel you want to do, that you love, do it. Sometimes you might start out just volunteering or being a hobby, but you have that desire for a reason. See, I never knew. I thought my dream of being on the stage or winning an Emmy was long gone after the abuse and after my mom died of cancer. And it just, who knew that would come full circle after cancer and after not even having a voice. Oh, guess what? Now you're going to use your voice. Well, wait a minute. Where was this dream back when I was in my 20s? And I was young and cute and all that good stuff. And I could sing. God didn't need my ability. He wanted my availability, and he wanted to use all that talent and training for a whole different purpose. And this is a purpose I'll never out age. Doesn't matter how much I weigh, how many wrinkles I have, how old I am. I can do this for the rest of my life. And it doesn't, because it's not about me. It's not about me trying to go on audition and being the right one for somebody else's part. That's good, but that gets draining after a while, because I never wanted to get a part when somebody else couldn't have the part. Such a cheerleader. So I'm in the perfect spot of using the training that I have. So I've had the best training in the industry of TV by being in New York City getting trained. Now I can use it to shine a light on other great people, and I'll never outgrow it, which is great, because it's not about me being the prettiest, the thinnest, the anything. It's okay. I can age gracefully or not gracefully, but I can still do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't care if I sound like a chicken, because it's not about my voice. It's about the stories I'm telling. Mm-hmm. So you all can do the same thing. Create your way. That's why I tell people how to create your own signature workshops or your podcast. You have a voice, you have a story, you have something, you have intellectual property. Use it, because people need it. Whatever you're good at, the rest of the world needs it. So, and I help them do that. But how I got here was, this was something I've always wanted to do. So it's just a life lived, and turning each obstacle into the next stepping stone. So I did not know this 20 years ago or 30 years ago. This was not pre-planned. It's just, I kept a good attitude, and I kept using everything that was thrown at me. And I said, okay, how can I utilize this? And I just stayed in great faith and great prayer, saying, okay, Lord, what do I do now? And sometimes you just sit back and be quiet. What's next? And sometimes you're just not sure, and that's okay too. It's okay.
Now, sometime along the way, you had the husband that wasn't so great, left
say
him.
The least.
But somewhere along the way, you met the husband you're with now, and you guys are like two peas in a pod. I mean, you're like inseparable. Like, it's so evident how much you're in love. So you want to tell a story how you met him and how?
Oh my gosh, that's actually a good story. You're gonna laugh. But when I escaped domestic violence, I wanted two things. I wanted to feel beautiful again, because I was really being degraded. And I used to be a professional clown and an actress. He took all that away from me. He told me all that was sinful and all that was bad, and what a terrible person I was. And looking back, well, then why the heck did you marry me? But that's beside the point. And so I just was so beaten down that when I got divorced, I waited till that paper was signed. I was committed. My commitment was to God. And so I didn't even date or think about anybody until that paper was signed, and I was legally divorced. And then I just wanted to get out in the world, because I was segregated. I was abused. I was kept in the house. I wasn't allowed to be out. wasn't allowed to feel pretty or even look pretty. So I needed to get a job. I was a single mom. I had Angel at the time, and she was like 6, 7, 8, something like that. And I was like, what can I do? I used to be a bartender before I got married the first time. And I used to wait tables, make great money. So I didn't want to go back to that. So I actually was looking through the Yellow Pages and I got a job at a dating club. And I ended up being really good matchmaker. I worked for Great Expectations and loved it. And it was back in the day where we had video dating. You'd look at somebody's video that ate the big cartridge, and ended up being really good at my job. And I ended up helping men really, say yes to a woman, even though she had children, because that was their big hang up. And I helped women say yes to guys who may not have a good job, because that was their hang up back in the 90s. And from that, I would not date my clients. And a friend of mine ran a dating club in St. Pete, and I was working in Tampa, in Florida. She goes, why don't you come and date my guys, and I'll come and date yours? So we bartered. I said, well, that sounds like fun. And I just wanted to feel pretty again. And so I went, and Brian was one of the first that I met. And what attracted me to him, besides he was so cute, was he used to be a stunt man. And oh my gosh. And he rollerbladed. And, I used to ice skate. So I'm worst case scenario, we can have some fun together. And long story short, 3 months later, my mom died. And he was the only one that stuck by me, that had my back. And we were just really good friends. But what we had in common was health, fitness, movies, TV, people. We both just really loved people. And he was so friendly. And I wanted one non-negotiable. And this is my message to all women. I had one non-negotiable when I got a divorce. If I'd ever date again or ever got married again, is I wanted a man that made me laugh and didn't make me cry. Everything else could be negotiable. It didn't matter what job he had or didn't have. Didn't matter, where, anything else is. I want somebody to make me happy and my daughter happy, made me laugh, and didn't curse and scream at me and tell me how stupid all my dreams were. And if we as women don't expect to be treated well, we're going to allow somebody not to treat us well. And I knew if I stayed in a relationship where I allowed a man to treat me bad, that's what I was showing my daughter love was. Because you can tell them all day long what you want them to do, but they're going to do what you do, not what you say. So that was really important to me. And Brian has yet to ever make me cry. Never once has he yelled at me. Never once has he said a foul word to me or called me anything bad. And he still to this day brings me coffee every day and says, what can I do for you today? And we're going to have our 25th anniversary next year in 2021 at my Live Your Legacy Summit in 2021.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So I just tell women, marry your best friend. Somebody who makes you happy. You both are going you care about each other's goals. You actually like each other. Your goal, like when I was married and being abused, the first time, he was an introvert. He didn't like people. What was I thinking? I don't know. You think you can change people. But an introvert and an extrovert that are completely that way is so hard. Because eventually one's going to stay home, one's going to want to go out, and somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. Mm-hmm. So imagine me being married to an introvert now that didn't allow me to do events, that didn't allow me to do TV, didn't allow me to create the Live Your Legacy Summit and help other people. I would be so miserable. That's not the life to live. So find somebody that makes you happy and that you make happy, and you have fun together. Have fun together. And if you're both introverts and you cuddle up on the couch and you don't care about going out, that's great, because you can live a long, happy life together like that. Mm-hmm. You can be enough different, but you have to have some things in common. I learned that when I was a matchmaker.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good advice. Enough different, but some things in common.
Exact. The most important thing. And know your non-negotiables. If it's religion, that's non-negotiable. Don't think you're ever going to change somebody, because it's not our job to change anybody. So if a certain religion is important to you, then find that before you make that decision. So you don't have to try to change him. Oh, I like him. Let me change his religion. No, it's not up to you to do. Or if politics is important to you, don't marry somebody who has totally different views than you do and then say, oh, I'll bring him over to my side. No, you know what a job that is? That is too exhausting. And nobody's going to win. Yeah. So have whatever it's, and if neither of those are important to you, that's fine. But if there's something important to you, then don't try to change somebody to make that important to them. Find it in the beginning.
Exactly. Now, you mentioned your daughter, Angel, and she is carrying on with the family tradition of going into entertainment.
Oh my gosh, she is.
Angel.
I love my Angel. She's great. She's the singer. She does paparazzi media. She is amazing. And she did Top 100 in American Idol. Her voice is, I used to sing, hers is beyond even whatever I could have ever done. She is just great and such a super fan of the family. We're just all so close, and Alyssa, we're all just so close. And I don't breed scientists, I breed entertainers. It's all good. We know our strengths, that's for sure.
So if someone wanted to get into the entertainment world, what would be your advice for them?
Get training. Go and get training. It's just like anything. It is a skilled craft. And when you go and get training, you'll know whether it's for you, if you like it or not. And you can, any type of training in show business, whether it's improv or whether it's comedy or whether it's any kind, it will help you with your business. It will help you with your public speaking. It'll help you walk into a room with confidence. I mean, I've taken everything from voice lessons, even though my voice is taken out, but I've learned pronunciation. I took, at Herbert Berthoff, I took jazz, I took dance, I took everything. Just helped me have confidence when you walk into a room. Whether I was ever a movie star, TV star, wouldn't have mattered, because those skills helped me better my life. It helped me with everything that I did. So I'd say if anything you want to do, get training. It comes down to training. And then you can either take it on from there, or you might realize, don't like this, and that's okay too. I rather fail forward to success. I'd rather try everything I think that I may want to see if I can do than have any regrets when I'm 90 in the nursing home saying, I really wish I tried skydiving. Not, but some people may want to do that. Or I really wish I tried that improv class. Try it. You'll make friends, you'll have a good time. And if you find you have a really great talent for theater or TV, go for it. And if you find you don't, it's not for you, so what? You've learned a new skill, made new friends, and check that off your bucket list.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Yeah. And I know some of the skills that you've developed over the years is putting together like your summit. And I know you actually teach people how to do that. But if someone has a big event like that, what are some of the main things you would think about to just make sure everything stays together? I know I'm asking you a big question, but just
that's a huge question.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say it's not for the faint of heart. Know your why. Why are you doing it? If you think you're going to do it just to make money off the tickets, think again, because there's such strategy to it. There's a way to do it. There's a way, whether do you need sponsors? Do you want vendors? Who are your speakers? Are you paying them? Are they paying you? There's so many dynamics to it. So my best advice is to find somebody like me or somebody else, there's other people that teach as well, that teach you how to do it. And you can start small. Or if you want to do a gala or a fundraiser, we've done those as well. You need somebody, even if you get into a group setting where you might get some free knowledge. There's a lot of free information out there. You could Google how to put on an event. Learn some tips for it, because it's not for the faint of heart. It's not all fun and games. But if you have a good why and you have a good reason to do it and you meet that goal, then it's worth it every time. So know why it is you want to do one. And a lot of the people that I know that do it is galas and fundraisers, and they're doing it to raise money for their nonprofit, or they're doing it to help whatever their goal is for having speakers on the stages that help entrepreneurs. So know who you're helping and who the people in the room are. And then that way you won't get derailed. You have your clear vision and purpose, but write that down first, and then find somebody that can help you, whether you pay for it or whether you get some free coaching or free group counseling. Got to. And then go on from there. I love it, but it's not for everybody. It really is. It's funny. Even though I got trained by the best back in the day with Tori Johnson, when she taught me how to do this, I could have never done it without her showing me every step of the way, because none of that was left to guesswork. My Live Your Legacy Summit is what it is because I was taught how to do it every step of that way for that first production one. And if you do it and you want to find somebody that can help you do that, but every single time I have to phew, we're done. I'm not going to do that again. But just as fast as I said that, it's like, oh, wait, now I got somebody else that wants to do it. A new charity and a new speaker. And now I'm going on my 13th one. But right the week before you do it, it's like, I am never doing this again. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Really. But it's so worth it. So worth it. But it does take a lot of work. So don't do it alone. And do know what you're doing and why you're doing it and who you're doing it for.
Yeah.
Best advice.
And you actually brought up a really good question when, just for us, even personally, how is the best way to find your why or find your purpose or what you want to do?
You already know it. It's not something you have to find. You know what your why is. Like my why when I first started, it depends what it was. When I got into direct sales, my why, I was being abused at the time, and Angel was only like 4 years old. I had 1 year to put her into private school, which was my why. I wanted my little girl in private Christian school at the time. And my husband at the time, the amuser, said absolutely not. So he forbade it. So I had to find a way to make money in 1 year. So I had a time frame. And I didn't have a car, so I needed to win a car. So I had some flexibility because I had just gotten a black eye from him. So I had that big why. I had a reason to do this. And I got it. That's when I got into Mary Kay. And within 1 year, I won the free company car because I had to. And I was the person that shouldn't have won one. I didn't like women at the time. I didn't like makeup. Sure, let's do Mary Kay. Let's do makeup on women, the two things I wasn't even good at the time. Now I love women and makeup. But I did it because I had to. I had no plan B. And that car was my escape car. When I did the summit, I knew at that time I needed my TV show wasn't getting sponsors. It was back in 2010, 11, the economy crashed. Sponsors were nowhere to be found for TV. So Tori Johnson said, why aren't you doing women's events? That's where the sponsors are. That's where the income is. Like, oh, so I did it because I needed to find another way to bring in an income. And then it morphed into this wonderful legacy in helping nonprofits. It was just amazing. So you have to have a reason. You have to know why you're doing it. But we all have a why. Is it your income? Or do you not need an income and you want to just give back, or you want to be a help? You know what your why is. You know why you have to get up today and what you have to do. And then if you have a really strong why to do an event, do it. If not, you just want to do it for fun, help somebody else do an event first. Get behind the scenes. See what it's like. See what goes on behind the curtain. And you may never want to do your own. You may always want to help somebody else do it. You'll know. You all know inside yourself what your why is, what you need to do. And if you're not sure, go get into the world. Go be a volunteer. Go get into the mix of where you think you want to be to see what it's really like behind the scenes. Because everybody makes everything look all fun and games. But behind the scenes is where the real, the real guts is. And you're pulling up your sleeves saying, oh, and if you like that and you love the sweat of what happens, then it's for you. It's like the gym. You don't get into great shape with no sweat. But people love the gym. They love the sweat. They love that work. It's what they're meant to do. And they love that. Great. Do it. That's wonderful. But there's other people like, oh, not today. And they'd rather do something else. They'd rather play tennis or, garden. There's exercise in other ways. So know you and know what makes you happy. Even when it's hard, when you're doing your why. You know that this hard work I love. And if you love it, it will never feel like work. It can still be effort. You still have to give effort. But like things are hard. My summit is hard. But I love it. It's what I'm meant to do. I need to do it. People count on me. I love every part of the outcome. So it's worth the effort to me.
Mm-hmm.
So know yourself. Know yourself.
Exactly. And
I would never be a CPA, not in a million years. I will pay my accountant to do that for the rest of my life. There's nothing about my brain or my personality that would ever want to do numbers or ever want to be that part of the world. So I happily pay somebody else to do that.
I have things like that too. Anything involving paperwork.
I know. So thank God there's people that side, like my accountant, Dawn Brolin. She loves numbers. She thrives on it. I'm like, you're crazy. But she's not. She's got that gift. It turns her on. She loves it. And thank God it does, because she's amazing. And people like us need her. So know what you love to do. And what we love to do might be hard for somebody else who doesn't like to do it. Like I know hundreds of people that would never want to get on a stage, that would never want to be on TV, that could never do your podcast, Kimberly, because they would rather eat a bug or pay taxes than speak publicly. And that's okay. We all have our different gifts and talents and our passions. Go with it. What makes you happy? Do that. Go for it.
Exactly. And what gives you the most happiness and fulfillment in your life now?
Same as always, being around people, helping people. I've always just been a golden retriever. I'm happiest when I'm helping other people be happy, and that's just the way I've been. I'm unhappiest this quarantine. Like when that first started and we hadn't figured out the Zoom and everything yet, not being able to see people, everything kind of being taken away in isolation, not my cup of tea. When people say, oh, I love my quiet time and my alone time. Not me. I want to be in a room with 1,000 people. I want to be hugging on everybody. That's just what I love to do. So that's what lights me up. That'll always light me up. And I just will never stop doing that ever. If you ever put me away somewhere, I'd be the most miserable. And I love being around all my animals and my dogs and my sugar lighters and my kitties. So I'm like a Betty White. Give me all the animals, give me all the kids, give me all the people, and I'll be happiest. So I really mean it when I tell, especially women, call me if you need me, because it really gives me joy when people call me, Aurea, can you give me advice? I'll do that all day long. I just love to help, because when I die, and this is the last line of my book I wrote, I Won't Survive, I'll Thrive. I truly want God to be able to say to me, well done, thou good and faithful servant. I just want to have been of service and of help. And I want people to have a better life because I was in their life, even if it was for a moment.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm sure there's people who would love to call or connect with you. Can you share a website or a YouTube channel, or tell us?
Absolutely. I'm easy to find. If they go to Facebook or Instagram, look me up under Aurea McGarry Productions, because that's where I'm really kind of most active now, under those two. YouTube, it's Aurea McGarry. And on any one of those three, you can message me, direct message me from Instagram or Facebook, and I will respond. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being on today and all your wisdom. It was wonderful. It was fun.
Oh, Kimberly, you're the best. This is so much fun, and being on your show, and thank you for all you do and bringing on people of all different walks of life to share their insights. I'm just loving your show, loving what you do, and just keep it up. Good job.
Well, thank you. So just one last word of advice. What's your best advice for living an incredible life?
Do your passion. Whatever you feel like you should be doing, stop letting people tell you why you can't, and give it a whirl. You have nothing to lose by saying, I really feel like I need to do this or venture out. Then do it. Venture out. Be brave. You have nothing to lose by giving it a try. Have no regrets when you get old saying, oh, I never tried. Nothing to lose for trying.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Aurea.
Thank you. You did wonderful, Kimberly. You're awesome. Love, love, love you. Mwah.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.